The events of September 11th are oftentimes difficult for us as adults to understand and fully grasp. So you can imagine the magnitude of conveying that day to a child.
How do you explain to them what happened without actually going into explicit detail? Well, a teacher in Caroline County is helping parents and schools do exactly that with a book that she wrote about 9/11.
Brian Spiros visited her classroom to find out how the book came together.
As the sun came up on a crisp and clear September morning, many people were busy getting ready for their day ahead. Moms were busy getting children ready for their day at school. At 8:45 a.m., an airplane, American Airlines Flight 11, out of Boston, Massachusetts, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. Our country was under terrorist attack.
For those of us who lived through it, the images of that day are forever etched in our mind. Words and pictures now tell the story, especially to our children. These students at Greensboro Elementary School weren't even alive in 2001. Still, some of them know bits and pieces of the terror that unfolded on that Tuesday morning in September.
That day, I know that there was plane crashes. People lost their family members, and a lot of people died.
Some planes that I guess were taken over by bad people.
Both of the Twin Towers went down.
Bad people took a plane and crashed into a building.
I think it was horrible, a day that people lost their lives.
Boys and girls should be working on their math.
Now their fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Tamra Bowers, is telling them the story of September 11th using this book titled The World Will Never Forget. A book she herself wrote to share with her classes with each passing year.
I think it's a well-rounded book in that respect that can teach without terrifying.
It all started back in 2001. Tamra had to write a children's book for a graduate school assignment.
9/11 had just happened. It was as fresh as a week in our minds, and I thought I knew right from the assignment that that would be the title of my book, The World Will Never Forget.
She completed the project and a year later began reading her homemade version to her class.
They don't need to know all the horrific details. They don't need to see horrific pictures. And that's, again, what the book was meant to do. It was meant to educate them in the facts that they could handle at their age.
After using the book for 9 years, she realized she also wanted to share it with others.
I really started thinking about maybe I should get this published. Maybe it would be a nice way to celebrate the 10-year anniversary and to have a professional copy that I could share with children and possibly share with bookstores and other schools that might want to read the story to their students as well.
And so the path to publishing began. There was just one problem. She needed pictures to bring her words to life. That's where Renee Bushel comes in. She and Tamra knew each other from years ago and crossed paths again while working in children's theater. Renee had been asked to do the backdrops for a play.
I saw what a great artist she was and you know how she was sketching things, and I'm like, I have to ask her to be part of this.
So I was very excited, and then when she said it was about 9/11, I was on board in any way that I could be.
Renee had 40 days to draw 30 pictures using colored pencils.
I would draw a picture and take it to her, and some of them I referenced from a picture that I got from the internet, and some were very abstract from my head. This picture actually is my favorite picture, and I drew that almost with the metal wrapped around him like an angel would wrap around a soldier or a fireman, the way they were like soldiers that day.
Renee says it was important to convey what happened that day through her drawings, but in a way that wasn't too graphic for children.
It was difficult to go back and look at all the pictures again, and it's like reliving it every time. Even when, me personally, when I look at our book and I turn the page that has twin towers on either side, and to see them on fire, it just brings it all right back, as fresh as it had just happened.
When all was said and done and the book was published, the words and pictures struck a balance.
I've had a couple people who have purchased the book actually say that they really didn't know how to bring it up with their child as their child is getting older, and they use the book as a resource.
I get to have my memory refreshed about 9/11.
We weren't born then, and now we get to learn about it because my teacher wrote a book.
It's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that they really don't know because they were not here.
Then at 9:45 a.m., another airplane, American Airlines Flight 77, burst into a portion of the Pentagon.
Tamara and Renee say they want to use the book as a way to inspire others. What started out as a simple college project has even made Tamara want to write another children's book.
It just makes me think, well, I can do this. I've done this and I could do this again. And I hope it's an inspiration to children when they see a homemade book become a published copy, that they can do that as well. We remember the thousands who lived their last day on September 11th, 2001. Americans will never forget as the sun came up on a crisp and clear September morning.
Tamara and Renee say they're willing to talk to schools or PTA groups about how a book like this gets put together. Even though many people may still not understand the why behind the attacks, there is one thing that's for sure: people wanted to help in any way possible.
And that's what they did by way of giving blood. Up next on this special 9/11 Delmarva Live, how you can still honor those who lost their lives on 9/11 by helping others who need it. We'll be right back.